This podcast is available on Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Castbox, and YouTube. Just Google Invisible Voice and you will get our podcast. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Invisible Voice. I am Tasrif. I have with me Sadman.
Hi, I'm Shadman. So, no question today?
No, I'm gonna ask a question still, but I'm gonna ask it later, like just 2 or 3 minutes later.
Yeah,
So,
like we are used to get a question in the intro part, so I was expecting that and I was taking mental preparation. So, if there's no question, that's good. That's the intro.
like
Like
this
this
podcast has to have a
unique part,
question.
yeah, like that's all it's about.
So I don't know about you, but I was a very introvert or a shy person from my very childhood, right? So I was always scared, and I'm still scared of about people's reaction, about my approach. Like I'm always scared about people's like thoughts about my work. Like I don't know, like I'm scared of my relatives or like my friends. If they see this, then what's they're gonna think? They might think that this is trash, right? So that's what I'm very scared of. Like, are you scared of that?
Yes, in some cases, of course, there is some social pressure and all. At some point of like you're like a paranoid kind of person. I know that. You're like overthinking everything. I don't think that's good. That's not good actually.
Yes, that is not good, definitely. But like when I think of like topics, like every time I think that what people might gonna think that like they might think that it's trash or like it's garbage. Like that scares me always. So the other day I was watching a video of my one of my favorite tech reviewer. There he told about his journey of starting his YouTube career. Like now he is very successful person. So then from his story I found out that his story was pretty much the same of me. He was also an introvert or like a shy who cares about other people's thoughts.
Yeah.
Like then he told something in his video that why do you care? Like why are you care that you are gonna do it anyway? Because like when you want to say or you want to do something, like you really want to do that, so you are gonna do it anyway. So like what's the point of caring, right? So that's actually hit me kind of hard. Like that's actually very true. It's like you are gonna run anyway. It's like you are born to run. Then why are you caring about other people's thoughts, right? So then I think that actually caring about other people, what's other people gonna say, it is actually not the productive thinking, I would say. Like so so the main point is like from now I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. So in this podcast I want to talk about something that a lot of people still might not take it very friendly. So I'm going to talk about Apple. So let's just start my question for today. So Sadman, like what is your first impression when you see someone is using an Apple device or like an Apple product? Like, what do you think about them?
What do you think of them? That's kind of
Yes, your thoughts.
I would say if the person is like if I know the person, he's a like gadget lover or like techie person, I think then he has his judgment and he chose Apple to be his device. But if a random person also uses it, then it's just for the show off purpose. I would say you got my point, right?
Very complicated answer, I would say.
But there is point, right?
Yes, I got your point, but for some people it might be very complicated. For me, it is actually kind of different. Like 5 years ago, like 2, 3 years ago, I thought when I see someone is using an Apple product, like I thought like they are very rich. Like they are super rich to be able to be afford an Apple product.
Apple device,
Like
yeah.
that what I thought every time. But now I think it's completely wrong because my dad and my mom, they also use Apple products
Yes.
and we are not rich. So that is completely a false,
Yeah, exactly.
a
Even in
lie,
my
I would
family,
say.
there is a
So
iPhone user.
I don't, yes. So from now, I don't believe that Apple users are rich. Like that's a complete lie because I have proof and I am not rich. So yes, that is it.
Okay, okay. Let's
So
agree to disagree.
but now another thing comes to my mind. It's like when I see someone using his first Apple product, like then my thoughts are different. Like then when I think, do they care about money? Like spend their money carefully. Like do you know what I'm saying?
Like they're just trying to
Like
show off some kind of thing. Exactly.
yes,
Okay.
that is the thing that they are showing off. But like if you are switching from Android to Apple, then I think you don't care about spending money carefully. You are like, I think that's my opinion. Of course that is wrong, but still I think about that. But when I see someone is using Apple products for like generation, like for 5 or 6 years, that is not a
Yeah,
generation, but you know what I'm
for
saying.
a like
Like
long
they are
period of
using
time.
multiple Apple devices, then yes, yes, long period of time, then my thoughts are different because now I think that they are trapped in the Apple ecosystem,
Exactly, exactly.
and
That's
we'll
what I was
talk
gonna
about that
talk about.
ecosystem later. But as usual, we're gonna start this by telling some stats, so you'll just listen, right? All right, so in 2019 Apple's revenue was $260 billion. Did you hear
That's
what I
huge.
said?
That's huge. And Apple is famous for their expensive products. Apple devices are
Now
expensive.
you will know more.
You have to agree.
Yes,
They
of
provide
course.
service, of course,
So
but their devices are
we all
expensive
have to agree. Even
than their
who
products.
is a Apple lover,
Yes,
he has to agree also.
yes, of course.
Their profit was 260 billion in 2019, and by selling only paid services, like they earned 46.3 billion dollar last year. And by paid services, I mean Apple Music, iCloud, Apple Care, all those paid stuffs or
Yes,
paid
iTunes and
services.
stuff.
And
Ooh,
that's a
man,
lot of money. Like
that's a lot of money. Yeah,
like everything we use on Android, we can use it for almost free, right?
exactly. If we don't get that free, we have VPN and other stuff. There is system for
Yes,
everything.
that is the fun thing. There is always a solution, but
Exactly,
that is not the answer for Apple products. So Apple products are pretty pricey
exactly.
and they can make you broke in like couple of seconds, right? You have to agree
Yeah,
with me
that's
about
kind
that.
of true.
Like in couple of seconds, you are like from rich to broke. So like, can you guess what is the highest priced Apple product right now on market for sale?
Like produced by Apple or like there are other third party.
Yes, produced by Apple. Like
The 11 Pro Max one.
just predict a number.
Oh, highest two.
How much it is? One
No, no,
thousand dollar?
near 2000. What? 1000. That
$1,000. I just checked everything. So, and let me tell you that it is wrong. You are absolutely wrong, and you might have a heart attack if I say
okay, okay. Oh, I forgot iMac. I forgot iMac. Yeah, like just tell the number.
iMac.
Yes, the
iMac.
recent
All
one.
right. So that is wrong
Okay,
also.
okay. Damn.
So let me just tell you the highest Apple product. Like let me just say it. That is Mac Pro, which is priced $53,000. $53,000. Just go to apple.com, go to Mac, then iMac. You will see the
What's
rest of
it
this.
made of?
I don't
Platinum
have
or
to
what?
say much. Fifty-three
Dollars.
thousand dollars. Like, can you imagine?
That's a lot of money. That
Yes.
man. What?
Bro, like, but I can say the exact price. That is $54,047.98. That means almost 55,000 after tax and all that. Like, how ridiculous is that? Like, you can buy a Range Rover Velar or like Mercedes Benz or like BMW
You,
7 Series
I
for that
guess
money.
you can buy a decent house. I think.
Yes, in the
Yeah.
US, not a decent. You can buy duplex house
Yeah.
in the
So
US.
yeah,
Like, not in the LA, but
in
like you
yeah,
know what
county
I
sites.
mean. But you definitely
Oh
can.
man, that's a lot of money.
So, but if you spend one fifth of that price, like $10,000, like that will be double the more than enough. I know that that doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean.
To build a monstrous PC. Yeah, that's a you
Yes,
can build a monstrous
monstrous
PC.
PC, like 10,000. You won't even need 10,000, like 6,000, 7,000.
Half
Like
of it
that
is
would be enough.
enough. Half of it is enough. That will be dream for some even hardcore gamers. That would be the like dream budget.
Yes, like Ninja or like Shroud, they don't even use $10,000 PC. I can guarantee you that. We know what stuff they use, right?
Yeah.
So we can tell the price anyway. So let's not go there. Let's stick to our point. And that is like their flagship computer, like flagship PC,
Yes.
not monitor included. All right, let's
What?
just let you know how. Just PC, just the PC, no cable, no nothing.
Okay, that's the business strategy of Apple. You're gonna have to eventually buy a monitor.
Or you will know more, man. So then they have $1,000 stand for monitor.
Yeah,
That you
I knew about
$1,000
I knew about
stand. Just you can get a stand for $100 in Amazon, like good stand. I'm not talking about garbage stands, like good stands,
that.
like
Exactly.
for $100, $200. But in Apple, you have to pay $1,000. Which is more ridiculous is that they have $700 Apple wheels for Mac Pro, like that Mac Pro I talked about earlier.
Okay, that's
Like, first of all, you could buy a house or a car, you could pay for your tuition, undergrad
exactly
tuition, but
exactly.
you are not doing that. You are buying an Mac Pro and you are not getting the monitor, the stand, the wheels for the PC.
If you buy a Mac Pro, eventually you have to buy the monitor and the stand.
Yes, and you will have to buy the wheels too.
Exactly,
Like,
because
like that thing is very, like, very. I don't know what to say, man. I'm speechless.
that's the kind of business strategy. That's business strategy because Apple followed this from pretty much their early stage of marketing. Because
Yes,
at some point, Apple like there was headphone jack available, but at some point, what they did, they just removed the headphone jack and they released the adapter. At first, they provided the
yes.
adapter in the box, but later on, when people got
Now,
used to it,
now that is not included.
exactly, you have to buy that for another 100 or like something dollars or $50
And
something.
what is even more crazy is that there is rumor for like iPhone 13 or iPhone 14 that there won't be any charger and any cables included in the box.
Reap iPhone users. Reap.
And they are selling $130 USB-C cable in their Apple store. Did you know that?
No, no.
$130 for an USB cable.
You can get a USB in $10 in Amazon.
Yes, like very good quality USB cable, like braided
Exactly.
stuff. But you know, Apple is Apple,
Exactly,
and
man.
like I don't know. So like when I think about these prices, like when I see these prices, I think like I'm in my dreams. I'm daydreaming, like and I don't know. I still think that is very crazy. And someone might say like, "Oh, these are very good quality," and like we all know that that is bullshit. So
Exactly.
we all know about the Unbox Therapy channel. Like, did you
Yeah,
ever heard
true.
of that?
Of course. Who doesn't?
So in his recent videos, like 3 or 4 videos ago, he unboxed the $130 USB-C cable. Like he wore gloves, and like
Yeah, like
you want to unbox these fancy products wearing your gloves because you don't want the dust of your poor hand to get on the device that you just paid, which made you
one quick
broke.
question. One quick question. Why would Apple release a $130 USB-C cable? Why USB-C? They use
They're
Lightning
Apple.
port.
Like that is the answer because they're Apple because they're bullshit. Right? That is the straight cut answer. Like
Because
what
like
do you want?
that doesn't make sense. All of their products has Lightning port and stuff, but why would they release a $130 of worth of doesn't worth? Of course, it doesn't worth $130, but why would they release a Type C cable? That's a quick
Like it's like Gucci store. It's like a Gucci store. You can get a Gucci wallet for $5,000. We all know that that is not worth that much, but Apple is following that
brand
trend.
value. That's just the brand value. Here comes the marketing and
Yes.
stuff. We would get into that later, but yeah,
And Apple is like $1 trillion company. $1 trillion. Like
they're gonna touch quadrillion pretty soon. I'm sure.
yes, in like 10 years, not 10 years, pretty soon I guess.
Pretty soon.
Changing their business strategy, and we'll talk about that later. So I agree with the unbox therapy what Liu does, like when he unboxed those $700 wheels and $1,000 stand and $130 USB cable with wearing gloves. Like, I agree with that because you know what I just said before.
Yeah,
You don't want that your dust from your hand to get on the Apple product, right?
yeah, sure, because it's 100. Yeah,
So let's just come to more specific thing, and that is iPhone. We all know iPhone, right? Right.
yeah,
So, like in 2018, Apple's market share in the whole world in phone market was 39%. That means 39% of the phone users are iPhone users, and which is a pretty big number.
in US,
No, not in US, worldwide.
that's a pretty huge number considering worldwide.
Considering just one company and with their own operating system, right?
Yes,
That is pretty crazy. So they used to sell like $1,000 phones for like 5 6 years from 2010 to 2018 19. But now in 2020 they are changing their business strategies, and I don't know if you heard about that. Like in couple of months ago they released a phone called iPhone SE. Did you ever heard of that?
yes, they pretty much released it for 6 or 5. Yeah, for 5 as well. They released AC edition.
It was priced $350. 350, that was the
That
price.
basically they are trying to catch the mid-range market as well.
Now 350 is like a budget phone.
Yeah,
The
that's what I
mid range
thought.
is like 500. Yes, so like in the past years, like 5 or 4 years ago, they used to sell like $1,000 phones only. They targeted the rich peoples, right? But now they are not targeting those rich peoples. They are now targeting all kinds of peoples because just by selling like luxurious phone or like ultra premium phone, flagship devices, they got 39% market share. But if they can target the like budget users, the poor
Yes,
people, right? If I want to say correctly, then if they can target the poor people, then they will get a lots of market share, a lot, because everyone's gonna buy an iPhone
of
SE.
course the stakeholder will increase.
Yes, and their business gonna spread more than ever, right?
Yes, it's gonna spread if they can release some budget phones.
Basically they are following Samsung's trend because they are now releasing like $350 iPhone, and rumors are that they are gonna release cheaper Mac. Like now we know that if you want to get a MacBook, then you
Yes,
have to spend 1,100 or like $1,200 minimum. But in future, like in 1 or 2 years, I've heard that those prices are gonna go down.
ooh,
We all know
that's some word of
what's the
hope.
reason.
That's some word of hope because they're
Yes,
trying to catch the market.
yes, they are trying to catch, they are trying to spread their business. As you said earlier, they are trying to make their business trillion to
Quadrillion, yeah.
like quadrillion. So that's how they do it, and Apple ecosystem plays a big part in their business. And when you start to buy an I start when you buy an iPhone, then the Apple ecosystem comes to work. Basically, let me just explain it by an example. Let's say I am an phone user. I'm not an iPhone user still, but I'm gonna switch to iPhone. So I just went to a Apple store, then I just bought an iPhone, maxing out my credit card, and then I just bought an iPhone. Like after 1 year, their 64 GB storage that's gonna get full after taking all those pictures, music, and then what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy their iCloud services because in when you buy an Apple device, like when you buy an iPhone, there's no way that you could get storage for free, right?
Exactly.
So then what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy iCloud service. Then I might want to listen to music. Then I'm gonna buy Apple Music. I might want to see movie. Then I'm gonna subscribe to Apple TV. And those all prices add up. And when you spend all of that, then you might think like if I spend and if I spend on Apple Music, then why shouldn't I get an iPod, right? Then you just went to
Buy
Apple
an
Store
iPod.
and then
Exactly.
bought iPod, which is like for $250. Those bullshit iPods, which don't even sound that great. So
I,
that is it. Fun fact is that those iPod, they don't work properly or correctly with Android devices. They just work fine with Apple devices only. Then you might think that I should get a laptop, and what laptop I'm gonna get? I'm gonna get a MacBook Air, which is the lowest price. like that's you just enter to a Apple ecosystem. It's like going to, it's like basically it's like smoking, right? Like when you smoke, it's
That's
very hard to
exactly,
give
I
up.
get your point, because that's what, oh, that's the thing Apple made sure by providing their service, or like
Yes,
making the ecosystem so much smoother, or like so much comfortable for the users, because once they get in, they're gonna stay in. Apple kind of
yes,
made sure that, because like, what should I say, like, how do I put this? They make some reliable customers, or like loyal customers who would stick to
yes,
their
loyal
device.
customers.
Exactly. That
Yes, like
what Apple.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's like basically smoking. Like it's like very addicting. Like when you spend those services and iPods, MacBooks, Apple Watch, then when you are gonna after like 3 or 4 years, your phone gonna broke, right? It's every phone gonna broke after a couple of years, no matter how good they are. So when they're gonna broke, then you won't be able to change to change your ecosystem to Android, because now all the paid services and other Apple products you have bought, like you can just throw away this, right? It is
Exactly.
not very easy for like a rich person too. So what they do, they just bought the next generation iPhone for another $1,000. Then their iPod or like Apple Watch, those like they become trash. Then he or she might buy the second generation. That's how the Apple ecosystem works. Like once you get in, it's very very hard to get out of that ecosystem. And that's why Apple is making their $350 iPhone AC, because they are targeting those poor people. Like for $340, like most of the people would go for iPhone instead of Android, because for the first iPhone users, they have like this hype, like, oh, iPhone may be very great and all that. Like iPhone, like for show off, I would be able to show off by buying an iPhone. Like they're gonna switch to that iPhone AC. Then what Apple gonna do? They are gonna sell those paid services like Apple Music,
Yes.
iTunes,
For
etc.
like better
After the,
services, gonna have to buy this. You're not kind of like have to buy this, but they are gonna make sure that you will buy it, because for
yes, they are gonna
comfort.
make sure that you're well. That's their media strategy, or like that's how they make their ad. Like you will notice, like when they release new iPhones or any Apple products for that matter, like the way they do their trailers or how they do their ads, like they're very creative. Like you have to give a round of applause for them. Like that's how much creative they are. And they are very rich. Like they, like the CEO of Apple, Tim Cook,
Yeah.
like his net worth is like $3.5 billion. No, not billion, I think it's million.
That the million, 2.5 million is 250 million, or like 2.5 million.
Oh no, 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 sorry, I was right. His net worth is $1.3 billion
Yeah,
as of 2015. Like 2015. Like in 2020 that is even more, I'm sure.
of
Like
course.
that's how much profit they're having. So that's how Apple gonna get their business right, by selling those $350, those cheap phones. Then they're gonna get lots more of their ecosystem.
Not poor people. I would no, poor people answer. I'd say like they are trying to include users from like every stage. So this is a kind of a marketing as well. You are gonna release a
Yes,
three cheap phone, or like a affordable phone, but eventually when they get used to it, they will kind of move to like the next generation of the flagship phones. The users gonna used to it, because I have used it. I have used an Apple device or an iPhone for a while, and I am actually an Android user. It's very hard to switch between those
yes.
two, because I have experienced it.
Those, like it's hard for those who understand Android, like who understands like the capability of Android devices.
The
Like
exactly the
those
versatility
people
of
are,
Android. Because if
yes,
I
the
want to,
versatility.
if I want to download a music, then if I can download it from YouTube just easily. I can use a third party app, or like if I on my desk. Okay, and let's just forget the desktop. I can just use a VPN or like a third party app to download the music
Yes,
directly from YouTube. But that's not possible in Apple, because the versatility of
Like
Android. It's like
there is
so much comfortable.
possibility, like there is possibility, but you have to be very, very professional, like the ultra level of professional, like in order to do those things.
Exactly.
And that's how the trillion-dollar Apple business works. And by saying poor people, I didn't mean to offend anyone. I'm just saying, like 3 or 4 years ago they only sold like $1,000 phones, but now they're selling $350 phone for a reason. And the reason was those poor people. Like, I don't want to offend anyone, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, for the
So,
good
like,
sake.
that is it. Basically, that is the Apple ecosystem. Like, what do you think about it?
It's hard to get out when you're get used to the ecosystem, because I myself have experienced it. It's pretty hard. And
That's why I decided that if like there is like no reason that I have to have a Apple device, then I would not. If I don't have that requirement, then I'm not gonna change from Windows or from Android to Apple. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna get myself into that trap. Would you ever do that to yourself?
but here, just you said like there are so much bad things, kind of like you're kind of opposing Apple, but at the end of the discussion we had to agree that Apple is the better option. Of course Apple is better option, but since we are not capable, like we can afford the ecosystem or to manage to stay in the ecosystem economically, so we are not gonna shift it to yet. But of course Android
Bro,
has its versatility, but
first of all,
Apple is you have to agree, Apple is good.
first of all, I think you are an Apple fanboy.
I'm
Like,
not Apple fanboy. I'm not Apple fanboy. Just but you
but first thing is that
yeah.
I may not buy an Apple product right now. I may not have the money right now. But like in near future, I hope I hope that I might have money to buy an iPhone SE, right? But what I'm saying that if I have the money right now, like for if I have $1,000, I'd rather spend that money to Android rather than spending
Yes,
Apple. Like,
because
would you do that?
I of course I do that right now.
So then why you said what you just said?
You didn't got my point. After if after some while, if I can afford economically to stay in the Apple ecosystem, like for all the paid services, buying the other side products and all, if I can manage to stay in there economically, then of course I would shift to iOS. But
That's
right
what
now,
I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to point out. Like, you don't need to change to Apple ecosystem, right? For the first time users. I'm saying for those first time users. Like for those who are using or like who are used to Apple products, I'm not saying that to change to Android or Windows. I'm saying that you chose, that's your wrong decision couple of years ago. Like, I'm not like suing them or like I'm not blaming them, but I'm blaming those who don't need an Apple product. Like, if you don't need to work on, for example, say Final Cut Pro or like Xcode, then
exactly.
you can do your stuff easily on Windows. Like, then if you have the money or like if you can afford the Apple ecosystem, then you still should not buy Apple products. Like, why would you give your money, like your hard working money to Apple easily? Like, they are already super rich. Like, that's what I was trying to say.
If your father paying for your phone, then what's the problem to getting in a Apple device? If your father's paying,
First of all, my father never gonna
I'm not
buy me
talking
an
about you.
Apple product.
I'm talking about others. This happens, right?
Yes, like those are those rich kids, right? Right. Their father gonna buy them Apple products anyway. But I'm talking about those, about my standards of people, like poor people like me who can't afford
uh,
to buy Apple products, and they think that one day they might afford an Apple product and they are gonna buy an Apple product then. That's what I am trying to say. Like, just don't make that mistake. Right.
yeah,
That's what I was trying to say. So now you agree with me?
I never disagreed with you.
No, like it's your opinion. You can disagree with me. That's not a problem. I'm just saying you don't have to agree
No,
with.
I'm also saying because Android is easier and fun to use.
Yes. So that is it. Like, that was my opinion, that Just if you can afford Apple products, but you don't need Apple products, then don't buy Apple products. Don't just throw your money away, like, you know.
Yeah.
And Sadman's prediction is like kind of different, right, Sadman?
Not different, because when you get into, if you can use an Apple device, or then you should buy it. If you can't use it properly, then why would you waste your money? You can accumulate the money and can spend it in 3 or 4 different sectors, including buying an Android phone, flagship phone, not even a just random phone, a flagship from a good company. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you, actually. I agree with you.
Yes, everyone has to agree with me. Even a Apple fanboy has to agree with me, because we all know, even they know that Apple products are bullshit. And one thing is that, like, I noticed it especially because, like, when someone was Android user, they used to hate Apple so much. They used to hate Apple like me right now, as I am hating Apple. But when they changed to iPhone or like the Apple ecosystem, then they just love Apple. Then they are gonna defend themselves no matter how.
Yeah,
Like,
kind of.
they're just gonna do it. Like, that's, I think, very strange. Like, I also want that experience. For that reason only, I might buy an Apple product, but I can assure you that I'm not gonna fall into that trap that most people fell into.
Okay, boy.
So that was it for today's episode. Like, that was just my thoughts, like, for if an Apple fanboy is watching or listening, then I'm very sorry, not sorry, but you know what I just said. So that is it for today's episode. Thanks for listening. I am Tasrif.